Welcome to No Apologies on Beck, where we are unafraid to speak the truth. I am your host, Rick Becker, our co-host, Lori Hintz.
How you doing?
Well, I'm good, partner.
All right, partner.
What the heck? All right.
I didn't say howdy.
How you doing? Wait, how you doing?
How you doing?
Okay,
Yeah,
Joey. All right. So, pretty excited. We have the new president of the Bismarck School Board to talk with us tonight, and we've got 1,000 questions. We can probably only ask about 900. Before that, I've got a topic I wanted to bring up, very timely. It just popped up today because a lot of y'all got checks from the government for having kids. Congratulations. Bring up the first graphic, if you would, gentlemen. What we have here is the child tax credit. That went out and apparently is supposed to hit people's bank accounts today.
Wow.
And this is specifically from the White House. I think I got it because I'm a legislator, but anyway, this is for North Dakota. And so today, tens of millions of families are getting a child tax credit. In North Dakota, 84,000 families are getting this credit.
Is there an income limit?
There is. And of course, you would expect that only people that are really needy would get it.
Right.
And it's true. You need to make $150,000 or less to get this. So
that's needy.
Yes. Now, the way it works is that this has been around since 1997. It started off at $500 a month, and it's a way to offset income tax and this and that. I don't think it's the right way to go. You just charge less income tax. But it was actually increased by President Trump in 2018. And at that time, President Trump took it from $1,000 to $2,000. Now, President Biden has taken it from $2,000 to $3,600, has increased the income level, so it's much, much broader. And President Biden wants to make it permanent. As of right now, it's only until this whole program is only in existence until 2025, but he wants to make it permanent. So that's that. I mean, that's good. I mean, more money flowing in North Dakota. You know what that means? More mommy makeovers.
Oh.
Ka-ching, ka-ching. Thanks, President Biden.
That's for you.
Thanks,
I got
President
it. Okay.
Biden.
I had to think about that for a second. Mommy, okay,
Yes.
got it.
All right. So now, President Biden tweeted, or someone tweeted for him, the following tweet.
I saw it. I'm
up,
pretty
please.
sure it wasn't him.
So here he says, the American Families Plan. This is now, the American Families Plan, I'm sure we will hit probably a few times in this show over the course of the next year. It is transformational investment in families. Transformational, a word that President Barack Hussein Obama liked to use.
And investment is another code word.
Well,
too.
investment's always, yeah, but we, Republicans, Democrats alike are accustomed to using that word when they actually mean spending.
Correct.
Anyway, they say, and there's a lot in it. Boy, that is true. So President Biden, for this week's conversation, asked Susan Rice and Cecilia Rouse to break down this important piece of his Build Back Better agenda. Now, Cecilia Rouse is an economist. She is chair of the Council of Economists. I forget what they call it, but each president has a Council of Economists. She's the chair. She's the first black female chair. But she was on
Obama's?
Clinton's and Obama's both in their Council of Economic Advisors. So that's her. I don't know a lot about her. She went to Princeton, and she's interested in education. Susan Rice, of course, you may remember her. She was the one that proudly took up the mantle to go on all the news networks after Benghazi and tell the lie about how it was a spontaneous uprising caused by somebody that made a video that ticked some people off in the Middle East.
Lying.
So yeah, fully lying. So that's so there you go. Now, what I want to do is play the clip, play this 3-minute piece roughly, break it down and talk a little bit about each segment that is in the American Families Plan. Go ahead.
I'm Susan Rice, President Biden's domestic policy advisor.
And I'm Cecilia Rouse. I'm chair of the Council of Economic Advisors.
And we're here to define some terms for you that are in the American Families Plan. So universal preschool is preschool that begins for every child in this country at the age of 3 and 4. And so much research, and you would know this better than I as an economist, so much research has demonstrated that getting a jump start on quality education from an earliest possible age makes a huge difference in the outcome for young people.
Now, here what they're doing, Lori, is they're talking about improving education. And this would be good to ask our next guest about.
Yes.
But what they're looking at is children ages 3 and 4, so the preschool, bringing them in, and they're saying that it shows that there is a significant benefit. Wrong. What they are looking at is studies from the 70s and 80s, and what those studies show is that, yes, those kids, just a few years down the road, had improved scores, improved aptitudes if they had early learning. But what they did, you have to, each one of the, and I dissected the studies very, very carefully. What they did is they took inner city kids, and the parents that were interested in enrolling them in these early childhood learning opportunities, they went, and it turns out that a few years later they were doing better. What they don't account for is the variable that those kids were in a household where education was extremely important to the parents. If you are in a household where the parents value education, you will do better in education. Not only that, the improvement that they did have melts away. I forget, again, it's been a few years since I studied those studies, but I think by 5th grade or something of that nature, it's gone. And so what they're doing, I mean, I commend anyone who says we want to improve education for our kids. Number one way is give more options. But besides that, I commend the intent. That's not what they're doing, certainly not Rice. What they're looking at is the cradle-to-grave indoctrination. Think about all the young minds that go to college and how they are warped after being in front of liberal professors for 4 years.
Exactly.
These guys want to have your kids from age 3, so forget about it. Go ahead and play.
Child poverty. The official poverty line currently is about $21,000 for a family of 3, and we know
You can't live on that.
It's impossible to live on
You
that.
cannot live on that.
And yet, in the United States, about 17% of kids grow up in households that live below the poverty line, and it's higher for Black and Hispanic kids as well.
Okay, there again, some misdirection. Now, certainly there is poverty in the country. It's $26,500 for a family of 4 is the poverty line. What they don't tell you is that we have many programs in place. They're acting as though people that are in the poverty or under the poverty line, that's it. No, what they're not counting is the earned income tax credit, the child tax credit, the TANF, the temporary assistance, which we generally think of as welfare, SNAP, meaning food stamps, CHIP, which is health insurance for
WIC.
kids, Medicaid, WIC, I think WIC turned to SNAP, but
Yep.
Medicaid, Head Start, all of these things are not counted in poverty. So you start adding up those things, it's a lot more than that. They also don't include wealth. So if you have an income below that line, but you happen to own $5 million of land, you are still in poverty. That's true. That's a true statement.
Wow.
The other thing that's important to know is that they're looking at the 17% of these kids, and I'll talk about it in a minute here, but there's income mobility. This isn't like a lifetime thing. This is not India where you're in the caste system. Roll the next segment, please.
The child tax credit, if you have a child under the age of 6, you'll get $3,600 a year. And for children over the age of 6, up to 17, you'll get now $3,000 per child. And what's really exciting is you don't have to wait till the end of the tax year to get your money. Starting on July 15th, you'll get up to $300 a month in your bank account. So that's cash money, ready for people who.
That's cash money, Lori. Cash money.
Wow,
So anyway,
wow.
if you make less than $150,000, you can get this money, $3,600 for kids that are under 6, $3,000 a year for kids that are 6 to 17. You get $250 or $300 a month that goes directly into your checking account for the next 6 months, and then you claim the other half of the credit when you file your taxes. Go to the next clip.
Income inequality. So in our country, Susan, as you know, not everybody makes the same. 40 years ago, CEOs made about 40 times what the average worker made. Today, it's almost 300 times.
That's ridiculous.
So what we've had is growing income inequality, and what's an important part of the American Families Plan is to provide the kinds of supports, paid family leave, universal child care, the child tax credit, to provide the resources for those who otherwise are not earning enough so that they can provide a good life for their families and really be important members of our society.
You know what's ridiculous? What's ridiculous is that cartoon music in the background, because I can't get
You don't
past
like
it.
that?
I'm like, are you kidding
I'll tell you
me?
what I think is ridiculous is that they continue to try and divide according to class.
Yes.
They purport this narrative about the people that are in poverty and versus the higher income. They time and time again look at this issue of envy, because if you see someone who's making too much, forget that your standard of living might be so much better than a different country, a different situation. But gosh darn it, if that CEO is making a lot more than you, it's a bad system. It's all about envy. We get rid of aspiration and we focus on envy and class division. It's horrible. The other thing is they completely do not account for this income mobility. That's what I wanted to talk about. They talk about the 1%, the 10%, whatever. 73% of society is going to be at some time in their life in the top 20% of income earners.
Wow.
56% are going to, at some time in their life, be in the top 10%. 39% of people, sometime in their life, in the United States of America, will be in the top 5% of income earners.
Those are
There's
big
income
numbers.
mobility.
Right.
We start off not making a lot. We work our way up. We make more. We
Right.
start to slow down. We retire. We make less. This is America. And their constant imposition of this narrative of classes and lack of income mobility and envy is horrific. So I think we're coming up to the last segment. Go ahead and roll it.
Pell Grants are payments that the government makes to low-income students to enable them to attend community colleges and universities. And Cecilia, this is really special to me because many years ago, my mother, Lois Rice, was instrumental in establishing the Pell Grant program. She was known as the mother of the Pell Grant. It turns out that over 80 million Americans have been able to attend colleges and universities due to the Pell Grant program. And the American Families Plan is going to increase by 22% the amount of money that the maximum grant for the Pell Grant gives. If you want to learn more about the American Families Plan,
Visit us at www.whitehouse.gov/AFP.
out! Peace out!
Peace out!
Peace out. That's cute. I don't have a problem with that. It's cute. Here's the problem. What they're doing is subsidizing education. If you understand economics at all, if you subsidize something, you get more of it. They're subsidizing the cost of education, right? That means it's easier that the cost gets driven up. If you tax something, you get less of it. That's why if you tax labor, people don't work as much. Anyway, what we're looking at is a complete misdirection. There's a huge problem in secondary education and in higher ed. And giving an increased Pell Grant is not going to be the answer. It just allows the institutions to raise their tuition. That's all I have. There is so much in one tweet. How can you? I mean, it's amazing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be back with the new president of the Bismarck School Board. Hang with us. We'll be right back.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
Go for Launch 2018 series winner. Without further ado, it is my honors. Regina. The winning team is the Fleming River Excellent.
Oh my God!
They won!
All right, folks, we're back, and we are with the new president of the Bismarck School Board, John Lee. John,
yeah,
thanks for being on. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I feel like I'm on the Tonight Show right now.
Oh, yeah, that would make me Doc Severinsen.
Similar viewership.
Yeah, right?
Doc Severinsen. No, that would make you
No,
Ed.
No, well,
oh, he's
Ed
Ed.
McMahon. I'm
Oh.
Doc Severinsen
I'm
because
not the
I'm in
guest?
chair 3 here.
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
so, yeah, you're the guest, though.
Okay.
All right. So, when did you get the new gig here?
I was just this last Monday night, yeah.
And how long have you been in the school board?
So I did fill an interim position that the board appointed me to that was about 8 months. So I'm just finishing up my 4th year.
4th year, okay.
Yep, so I got 1 more year left on my term.
All right, thankless job?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, sometimes it's people thank you, but this last year has been pretty thankless.
I bet.
Yeah. It is what it is. But
yeah, well, and there's a lot of stuff that was very interesting this year, we'll say.
Yeah.
But
So what can you tell me about how the school board works with regard to who is president when? Because I know other people have been president down the line, but do you elect each other, or is it you take turns? How does that work?
it kind of has turned into a taking turns. Really, the presidency is a different animal. It's a lot more work, and it's a daily thing where you're kept in the loop daily, and you have to keep your board in the loop. And there's a dynamic there when you're running the school board meeting. You don't get to make motions.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So I didn't jump at the chance, earlier, and really, I do think it takes a couple years to kind of get the lay of the land and really figure out how everything works, and it takes some time to kind of build up that rapport with the district and where you feel comfortable taking on the position. So
Sure.
I would say last year I would have felt comfortable. This year it just felt like this is my last year, so it's my turn, right? But you still have to, the board still has to see it. You have to be nominated, and they have to agree to it. So there's no written rule that you can't serve more than a term. But it's kind of worked out that way the last few times.
But they're just a year term?
They are, yep.
Okay.
Yep. 1 year.
Another question for you. With regard to the board, the relationship between the board and the superintendent. Now, it's the way I see it a lot of times, it's kind of almost playing out like the superintendent is the director of the board. When in fact, the board, I know it's not technically correct, but really the superintendent is almost like an employee of the board.
That's exactly right. How it works under coherent governance is the board has two employees, the superintendent and the business manager. The superintendent is viewed as the CEO of the district. He's in charge of all the operations. The board governs by policy, and we go through operational expectations and results that we set and monitor those. You'll see those every meeting, an OE2 or an OE3 that comes up and that we look at, and we either acknowledge it as in compliance with exceptions, or non-compliance. All of those monitoring reports get bound together at the end, and that's basically the superintendent's evaluation. So it's a little bit, we're still kind of, I would say, young at it. I think we're 3 years in, and COVID kind of gave us, you know, kind of a respite where we were kind of talking about a lot of other things and not really the governance model, and we're just kind of getting back to that. But you can see it being refined over time, and it's a good thing. The bottom line is, you know, the buck doesn't stop with any one school board member, whether you're the president, vice president, or any other member. The buck stops with the whole board. The whole board does make the decision making for the district, but we are entrusting the superintendent to take care of all the operational aspects of the district, and that's a full-time job. I'll tell you what, I had no idea. It's more than a full-time job. So the superintendent is a big job. We're the part-time people, the eyes and ears of the community that kind of hopefully keep everything in check.
Right. It's one of those things, the way I liken it to like a state legislator. The people elect the state legislator, but we're just part-time citizen legislators, and you know, some of the bureaucrats or the agency people have been in there for maybe even a couple of decades, and they're full-time. And so we tend to sometimes give a lot of leeway to what they want and accede to what they want. And that's my concern as I've looked these past years, not specifically with Bismarck, but over the past year and a half with COVID, school boards across the state, that it seems like whatever the superintendent says goes, and I'm hoping that that's not the case, or we come back to where the elected officials are taking the approach of like, this is how we're going to do things.
Yeah, I guess I don't feel like that. I think we have a good working relationship, but you don't always see the tensions behind the scenes and us pushing on each other, and quite frankly, maybe even some knockdown, drag-out fights, you know, to get to a point where you can come to a resolution and move forward with what's best for kids and what's best for the district. Now, you do have 5 separate people, so you have a lot of voices and
a lot of different opinions, probably.
A lot of seats at the table. Mm-hmm. And the tough thing with 5 board members, and that's what makes Bismarck unique, right? Most boards, even in you know, the smaller towns, have 7 to 9.
Sure.
When you have 5, you can't talk to 2 board members about business, right? You can only talk one-on-one, or else you have a quorum and it's got to be an open meeting. So there are pros and cons to that.
The upside is you don't have 17 people with 17 opinions, or 9
That's exactly
people.
Right.
I mean, it's a flip side too.
That's exactly right. At times it feels like, you know, we're being asked to take on the work of 7 or 9 people, but we've all signed up for it. And for me, I've even through this last year, I've really enjoyed being part of the process. When I started out, I had 3 kids in the system. I'm down to 2. Next year, I'll be down to 1, and it's amazing how quick that goes.
Yeah, it does.
But it's been good to be on the inside and be part of those decision makings and kind of get a fresh perspective of what happens in a school district our size.
We're getting ready for a school year. We've got a 1 minute here left.
Okay.
If we're getting ready for school and people are thinking, okay, what's going to happen with masks this time around? We've got all these Delta, Lambda variants. A feel for that, John?
Yeah, you know, my feeling is we're going to open up just as we close out the year, that there's not going to be masks, that it's going to be business as usual. Part of that is I don't know what's going to happen, but you have to backtrack to what made the decision to bring masks in the first place. A lot of it was us trying to get back to in-person education, and there's a lot of things handed down with quarantines and close contact guidelines that without the mask, whether you believe in the efficacy of masks or not, we weren't going to be able to be in person for a very long period of time without them. And it was to me it was concerning. Still is. I don't want to be put in that position again.
Yeah, I have one more question on that I'll hit you up, and then we'll leave masks alone. But I want to hit that when we come right back after this break.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Prairie Patriot Firearms and Training is the region's most complete gun and training center. 5-lane indoor range, a gun shop, and a certified training facility. Firearms training courses are offered daily for new, intermediate, and advanced shooters. If you're not comfortable in a classroom setting, Prairie Patriot offers one-on-one private lessons, from basic self-defense training to concealed weapons testing, along with a full line of guns, ammunition, holsters, and concealment clothing. Prairie Patriot, 3930 Memorial Highway, prairiepatriot.com.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
All right, we're back. It's No Apologies, your after-hours oasis of sanity. I am your host, Rick Becker, co-host Lori Hintz, and our special guest, new president of the Bismarck School Board, John Lee. All right, so we just kind of were hitting masks a little bit. I am concerned with new variants that it could be something because our governor is not necessarily averse to masks, shall we say, neither is the health department. And if they say, hey, you know what, it's time to mask up again, there is no science that supports children masking up. And I'm not trying to make things, you know, I'm not trying to drag you through the mud, but here's what I want to get at, John. Yep. You indicated, and I can feel for having this position, if the kids didn't wear the masks, then they would not be able to be in person in school, and that's critical, right?
It is.
And then also as we got toward the end, when I started chirping in and being a pain in the butt to some of the board members.
Was he doing that?
I don't know. It wasn't me.
The concern would be, gosh, if we take the masks off too soon, we won't be able to do graduation ceremonies, things like that. So here's my question. That's if you followed the guidance, right? But you're not obligated to follow the guidance.
We were not.
Okay, that's what I just wanted to be clear on, because it's still okay for citizens to contact their school board members and say, look, we really, really want you to take a stand if it should happen again in the future, correct?
Correct. You have to realize, and I'm sure you do, but people at home, you have to realize how tough it is to go against your city partners and your state and your governor. There's a lot of pressure that's put on a board when it comes down to a board. And one of the ladies who spoke to the board said, you know, asked us point blank, do you feel qualified to make health decisions for our kids? And I was like, no, I don't. I don't have a medical degree, but we had a lot of medical degrees in our ears saying what to do that that we were listening to. So it gets tougher than it looks. But I will say this: it's always good when your stakeholders show up and share their feelings, because otherwise you may feel that way, but you feel alone. If you know you're not alone, it's easier to make those decisions.
Did you have a lot of parental visits then to the school board meetings and in that season?
We did, and it just seemed like it would be one group 1 week and the other group responding to that group the next, and it was the same way with emails. As a community, we were very split on the issue.
Interesting.
We were, but that made it all the tougher. I think at the end of the day, we were trying to do what's best for kids. First and foremost was in-person instruction. We needed to keep staff and all staff in the buildings, kitchen workers, custodians, teachers in the buildings, and with those close contact guidelines and the quarantining, it got to be crazy. And then if you're both masked, you don't have to do it. There's a lot of it, to me personally, I've already said I'm not an expert, but a lot of it didn't make sense, but it's what everybody was doing, and we got caught up in something new.
That's always the best way to go. When everybody's doing, that's what you should do.
No, you're right. It's not, but with something so new and you don't know how it's going to turn out, it's like at least if we're not a lone wolf and something bad happens, we look terribly bad. I'm not saying that's how we made decisions, but that's part of the
pressure
tension behind the scenes.
Yeah, I can empathize that it's not as easy. It's easy for someone like me or someone else to say, you should do this, but it's a lot harder when you're in the mix and you're getting it from all sides. I can appreciate that.
Let's touch on CRT,
yes.
Critical Race Theory. Okay.
Seat got a little bit hot there. Did you just, no, absolutely.
It's not terrible.
Yeah. And did you have a specific question?
My specific question is have you seen some parental discussions about this already? Have you seen CRT sneaking in with other names in the school? We've heard that before on our program. People weighed in and they said, well, there's this other name that they're calling it too, and things like that.
Oh, okay. I really, up until about 4 or 5 months ago, I don't think
anyone knew the term.
Well, I know I hadn't, and but I understand it to some degree now. We've never had critical race theory in our curriculum. We don't now, and we have no plan to in the future. But as it's raised in the public consciousness, especially part of the national discussion, and I watch Fox News. It's on there all the time, so I understand why people are worried about it. As a parent, I would be concerned as well. Probably the best thing I can tell you about it or leave you with is we're not into blame and shame regardless of your skin color. That's not who we are. We do have diversity and inclusion as part of our core values. That has nothing to do with CRT. We are a diverse group, Bismarck Public Schools. I'd like to ask you guys this. How many languages do you think are spoken in our schools by our students?
I'm going to say 13.
I would say 20.
Oh, what I would have said somewhere in there. 72.
Come on.
I am serious.
I don't believe you, John. I'm sorry. I think someone's feeding you a load. Well, no way.
That could be, because I haven't heard them all spoke, but that is what that was what was shared out with us last year, that there are 72 languages. And sometimes you hear these crazy stories of a family moving in from France, and all of a sudden you have 5 French kids. You've never had anybody from France before. Nobody knows how to speak French in the building, so you have to navigate all of that all at once in one day.
Wow.
There are things like that happen in a district like this, our size, that we're constantly dealing with. So.
Wow.
Yeah. With CRT, so Cognia is the curriculum developer, right, for the state. It used to be Advanced Learning, I think, something like that. So they are going to be coming out with their standards. And DPI is going to have to somehow give instruction on how to implement those standards, and the school board is going to have to either just take them as is or tweak them or what have you.
Right.
But Cognia, at least the CEO of Cognia, apparently is fully on board with CRT based on things that I have seen firsthand. And I'm wondering if the school board in Bismarck, perhaps other school boards, are at least going to be aware and vigilant that we're not letting kind of this stuff about having the kids focus everything and judgments based on skin color. We don't want that. And we don't, you said, you know, as far as being judged or shamed or whatever on skin color, we don't want any of that. Are the school board members aware that there is a push to come in, whether it's from Cogni or others, that there is a push in the various states to get this in somehow, regardless of whether it comes by the CRT name?
Are the school board members aware?
Are they aware? Are they going to be vigilant? Is there a discussion on keeping an eye out for this?
Absolutely. I don't know that any of us are real aware of where it could be coming from. I do know we've had talks with admin, and we feel pretty confident that that we're all on the same page moving forward. That doesn't mean you don't keep your eye on the ball, because you know the thing is we're all parents too, and we're your neighbors and some of your friends at least. But we want the same things by and large that most of you do for our children.
Exactly.
Of course.
So yeah, absolutely, we'll be keeping our eye on the ball for sure.
Well, thank you very much for coming in and sitting in the hot seat. I really appreciate that. I know that
John,
was
thank you.
probably not easy,
I
but-
commend you for coming in, because you know you know the caliber of questions. They're not all softballs, but I appreciate it and I respect that. Thank you, John. Folks, we will be back in just a couple of minutes.
When you're buying windows, make sure you're comparing apples to apples. Hi, I'm Jesse with the Window Source. We only sell you the best windows and doors for the best price. Call the Window Source. Just because you pay less doesn't mean you get less.
Calling all farmers. Join us Friday, July 16th for Farmers Night at the Bismarck Bucks. The Bucks take on the Frisco Fighters with a 6:05 p.m. kickoff, and we'll highlight our friends at Farm Rescue. Please visit bismarckbucks.com.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York-style pizza. We also feature gyros, with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go. We deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm gonna pass the savings directly on to you. Go to MyPillow.com right now to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. For example, you can get my premium MyPillows, regularly $69.98, now just $29.98, the lowest price ever.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Hey, all right, we've got mailbag. We've got mailbag. Okay, so you lead us off, Gloria. You love leading us off here. Oh my God, come on!
Look, it's Steve.
Wow.
They've been saving. Oh, and look at, and I'm Blues.
You're the little Blue.
I'm Blues Clues. Them Blue. Okay, they've been saving that for a while. Okay, that guy's.
Oh my
God.
Unbelievable.
The funny part about that is we both raised children at about the exact same time
Yes.
that we were totally watching that stuff. So we've talked about that before. So that's what I'll think. Well played, fellas. Well played.
Good job,
Okay.
guys.
Okay, let's show the first mailbag here today. This is talking about the majority report grades. The 67th North Dakota legislative session passed many good policies, but also record spending with no tax relief. What grade would you give them? Now, I would have to say that overall, they were not very kind to the legislature, the people. However, it's really easy to pile on. I'm just going to say it's easy to say, well, enough, you know.
Yeah.
So you want to go ahead and read some of these?
Well, sure. I mean, and really, I think people are keyed in. The legislature did a good job with policy, as we indicated on the show. But really with spending, which we highlighted, I think that's what people are relating to is all of this spending. So people are saying maybe they get a D. Someone is saying a solid F. They cut some budgets by firing some people, but there are many people that are working at home in other states, and they're working at home in other states, and we pay other states to keep doing the same state record keeping. Someone says, I'm sure they'd give themselves an A+, but the net taxpayers are giving them an F. Someone is saying, needing more with courage and integrity voted into office to replace those who have compromised and diminished our freedoms and increased our taxes for far too long. Now that, I think, is very well said. There's a technicality. We haven't really been increasing taxes, but the problem is we haven't been decreasing them despite the fact that we easily could have been. But boy, yeah, I would love courage in it. More people with courage and integrity. Someone's giving an F on the tax and spend. I agree. They did appreciate the Second Amendment rights. Well, me too.
But then the follow-up to that was, but they failed the best one. So like, great, but we're going to negate it. So yeah, that was bad. And then the next person says, well, I'd give them a D. More should have been done to curb executive power and limit the power of unelected bureaucrats. I can't disagree with that, I guess. But we need to vote these people out already, and this time they won't be able to cheat and keep their seats. I don't know what that means, but it's an accusation. I still have to rent my land from the government, therefore they get an F.
Oh. So property
taxes. That's what that's all about too. Somebody says straight to detention is my grade, and a C-. And then the next one says D.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. D, the uncontrolled spending each session is disgusting. C-. The taxpayers are being taken advantage of. F, and an F- as the absolute worst grade. So it was all kind of all over the board, but nothing B's, nothing A's.
Everything was below a C.
It was below a C. So,
all right.
All right. The next topic that we hit was, do we need to do more to address mental health issues in North Dakota? If yes, what do you think could help? And we had some really good answers on this.
Yeah, we did. Someone says, if the state got rid of the crazy conservative lunatics, everything would greatly improve. That's my favorite.
I'm so happy somebody's finally saying something snarky on here. Come on, guys.
Another snark. Someone says, let's also have our legislators evaluated. Thinking they're doing a great job by spending record amounts has to be a sign of mental illness. The mental health of the majority of our legislator needs to be evaluated. Continue to spend at the levels they are is insane. Okay, so that's snarky. Do we have any?
We do have some good stuff coming here. Okay, the next one says, yes, one issue is there aren't enough doctors, counselors for all the people that need it. Try getting an appointment to a new provider right now. It's months out, they say. Decriminalize all drugs. Treat addicts with health care instead of punishing them with prison. Divert savings from ending the drug war and depopulating the prisons to cover the cost. Another person says NDMA needs to step up and get more funding and create awareness on this topic. Many people make fun of mental health, and we should be beyond that by now, but we aren't. Yes, work with the youth, fund more behavioral health services for kids and adolescents, need more accessible short-term inpatient help. At least this is how I understood it when I was in the field. I've been out of it for a little while, but it was a real pain in the butt to try to get people services that needed it. Also, need to really try to normalize mental health issues. A lot of people struggle, and it's okay. Yes, especially in rural areas, someone says, and services therapies are there for children. And yes, we can address this issue easily by offering state incentives and tax write-offs for LCSW programs for intakes, evals, and treatment. We're so short on the intake and evaluation side of patient care, and yet the degree can be completed in under 18 or less months. You're lucky to see a psych provider who can prescribe and treat 3 months from your initial contact. We have 750,000 population. This is easy to solve.
I don't know if it's easy to.
I
It's
don't know
easy
that
to
it's
identify
It's
some of the
easy
problems.
to diagnose the problems, but yeah. All right, and this last topic that we have on Facebook was just recently. So, do you think Democrats have overplayed their hand on voter identification requirements? Why or why not? We were talking about voter ID last night with Ronna McDaniel from the Republican National Committee. Yes, someone says, because you have to have ID for just about everything. To me, it sounds like they're saying some people are too stupid to get an ID, and that's very demeaning. That's a very demeaning attitude to have. I just hope more people will pay attention to these things. Freedom fighters don't hide under mommy's skirt. Okay, and then I'm going to move to the right because the center one is my favorite. Yeah, and why? Because they will do anything to keep Trump out of the White House. They are going down a very dangerous road, I believe, and something's got to give real soon. They think screaming about every little thing works. It's all about power. And I think the Democrats need to go back to JFK policy, and then maybe there could be some bipartisan.
Yes.
Anyway,
yes.
can I switch my kickstand to the other side? I don't even want my motorcycle leaning left anymore. So there you have it, mailbag for tonight. When we come back, we're going to do an off the cuff. We haven't done it for a while. I will ask the questions. He will have the answers.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Spas, etc. Yeah.
You've come to know and trust us for over 18 years with the largest selection and showroom in Western North Dakota for our beautiful Sundance spas. Plus, you can pick out your next home experience with our selection of pool tables, shuffleboards, and fun accessories.
Spas, etc. Your relaxation destination on Main and Bismarck.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Every great pizza has a secret. At New York To Go, that secret lies in our perfectly recreated New York water, the key ingredient to making our signature New York style pizza. We also feature gyros with the region's only gyro meat spit, plus Nathan's hot dogs, calzones, and our delicious jumbo buffalo wings. Try a 14-inch or our special giant 20-inch pizza tonight. You gotta know how to fold them if you want to hold them. New York To Go, we deliver for you.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
All right. You already know what you're watching. We're almost to the end. Lori, you got some questions for me.
Off the cuff today, I ask the questions, you come up with some sort of an answer.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I will try.
My first topic is talking about controlling one's data. There is a Fox Business And would you show the graphic for me, please? And the headline says, Ohio introduces data privacy or data privacy legislation that allows residents to have their data deleted. And if you look below, it says residents can also request that businesses do not sell their data. So this is the quote. It says, federal and state laws do not adequately protect how companies use your personal data and what rights you have to that information. Ohio's Lieutenant Governor John Husted said in a statement, without action in this space on the federal level, it's important that our state take the lead. The Ohio Personal Privacy Act implements the necessary tools to keep Ohioans' data safe and gives them control over their digital presence. The Ohio Personal Privacy Act will allow residents the ability to have their personal data deleted, and it will also allow them to request that businesses do not sell their information. Do we have anything like that in the state of North Dakota, and should we?
I don't think we do. That's interesting because you're looking, I mean, as much as this is a true issue, and especially when we have the hacks going on, who knows who's going to get what data that's being stored. But the problem is, how deep do we want the government to get into contractual law between two voluntary parties?
Shouldn't this be a state issue, though? Shouldn't we be able to control our data by state?
Well, it should absolutely be a state issue before it's a federal issue.
Right.
There's no question there.
Right.
And that's a good point. I'm just wondering, for instance, I could see clearly a state could make a law that it's an opt-in. I think that's okay, meaning that you have to say, yes, you can use my data, versus an opt-out that you have to search through and read the fine print and find where you opt out.
I'm going to tell you what happened to me. I decided after I had COVID I was going to donate plasma.
Okay.
So I went to a local plasma place, and I went through the questionnaire, and I was filling out the questionnaire to donate plasma. And I found out during that interview period that no, they're not even doing that anymore. So I'm like, okay, well that's fine. Well, I'm feeling I go through the questionnaire, and on the questionnaire it says, do you give us the okay to give your data and information to foreign countries? I'm like, no. So I stopped what I was doing, went to the office people and said, take my data off. I haven't donated plasma. I haven't done anything for you. And they told me, no, we can't expunge your data. We can't take your stuff off because the FDA requires us to keep it once you've given it. Even if you haven't even donated, you have to, yeah. So I'm here to tell you.
See, now but look at the root of the problem.
FDA.
It's the federal government.
Which is what I'm saying.
So rather than making state laws to try and take care of the problems caused by federal laws, we just need to get rid of the federal laws. I think that's probably the biggie there.
Okay, do you want to go to the next one?
Oh, sure.
Right,
How much time do we have?
All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, so this graphic, this next one coming up here. Okay, so this is an actual door knocking script for Lake County, Illinois. And it says on there, inform, don't convince. Your job is to equip the person at the door with the information resources they need to make an informed decision about their health. You are not trying to convince anyone to do something they don't want to do. Go to the next one here. These are unbelievable. This is my favorite one. You are not soliciting. Because you are not seeking an order for any goods or services, you are not considered a solicitor. Therefore, no solicitation signs do not apply to you when you are performing this activity. Always be respectful of the residents you interact with, and if asked to leave, you must do so. No trespassing signs still apply and must be complied with. These are for people going door to door in Illinois, Lake County, Illinois, for vaccines.
Interesting.
So my question to you is, is this going to backfire on them, or is this an okay idea?
Well, okay, so if there was a legitimate reason to go door to door, I think that their guidelines are smart. They're good guidelines. Number one, don't convince. You're just informing. I think that's good. Number two, don't get freaked out if there's no solicitor signs, because this technically isn't solicited. I think that's okay if you started from the premise that what you're doing is appropriate and necessary, right? If you started. But we're not starting there.
Right.
What we're looking at is, again, the left always believes that if someone's not doing what they want that person to do, it's because they haven't been informed enough times.
They're just not smart.
And you just need to do some outreach, and you need to do more education. So the fact that half the country is not getting, at least in the rural states,
right,
at least half of the people are not getting vaccinated, it's not because they don't know. It's because they don't want to. And going door to door, you're just going to piss them off. So it's ill-advised, but as much as, you know, it might be shocking to say, hey, you can ignore the solicitation. I mean, I'm just looking at, if I was doing something legitimate, I would probably have the same memoranda.
Okay. My last topic has to deal with the forensic audits that are going on.
Okay.
You may be aware of Arizona.
Yes.
Georgia. They're talking Pennsylvania and Michigan audits as well. Should every state conduct a forensic audit despite election outcomes? Because in the state of North Dakota, we had an outcome that essentially people were pretty happy with for the most part. Trump won handily in North Dakota. So why would a forensic audit here in our state even be necessary? Some people have said.
Yes.
However, there is a trend, there is an effort by many people across all of the United States. Why wouldn't you have forensic audits everywhere?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's smart to have a forensic audit because if there's a doubt, what you want to do, especially with the importance of voter integrity,
exactly,
you want to alleviate that doubt. You want people to feel confident that when they go in and they cast their vote, it will be counted appropriately and once. And so if there are some states where there really just does not seem to be a concern, I don't have a problem if the citizens aren't saying, hey, we should have an audit. But if there is a sense of we would like an audit, I think that the state should be jumping on board and going ahead to do it. If there's really no concern, I mean, it's going to cost money. I hate the state wasting money anytime. But at the slightest hint that there's a concern, jump in, do the audit, clear things up so that everyone can move on.
Excellent. Off the cuff? Rick Becker. Awesome. I love it. You did a great job again. All right. So join us on Monday. We've got a very exciting guest. You may know him from The Right Side with Doug Billings. Doug Billings is going to be on our show next time. So join us then.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of MyPillow. Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got my pillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm gonna pass the savings directly on to you. For example, you get my 6-piece towel sets, regular $109.99, now only $44.98, or MyPillow dog beds for as low as $19.99 with your promo code.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.